right? So if you have got, you should have your own login so you can actually access your files. Otherwise, you just have to go File, Load from your computer, and find it. Generally speaking, please do not leave things in your downloads folders, because if you do not sit on the same computer space each lesson, you will not find it. You should, in your folders somewhere, I've got a heap of stuff, have a folder called DTC. And then in here, you should have a new folder called Web. And inside that web, there should be a folder called Images. And then in your DTC folder, there should be a new folder called Programming. And this one here, we could even call this 7DTC. Right. So this is where your essentially your file should be saved to, which I'll show you how to do at the end of this recording. Right. Anyway, I'm continuing on. So we want to get this cat doing something. Well, I want this cat to shoot. Why? Because that's what cats do in my world. Right. So in terms of this here, I want the cat to probably sit a little bit further down the screen. Just sits a bit nicer. So we'll just say -100. So I'll just change that. -100. Let's look this up. Right, so this is effectively what's sitting in the background of your Scratch cat. So we've just gone -100 further down. And then obviously you can go -x, +x, +y, up and down. So that's what's sitting in the background. You get a third dimension, which is Z, which is depth. But that's for obviously 3D stuff, so we don't have to worry about that. So that graph that you thought you'd never use in maths sits in the back of your games and a whole bunch of other bits and pieces you interact with. So to get our thing that we're going to shoot, we're going to do a few different things. We're going to go and choose a sprite. And I am just going to choose a sprite and look it up. And ball. Nice and easy. It's going to just shoot this out. Right. So in terms of doing a shoot, let's try and think of our things in a practical sense. So we want to, as our list number 1 for our shoot, maybe what do we want to do for our first thing is when I shoot, or like press button. Right. Number 2, what could we do? We want it to go to the cat. We're thinking about this from like a bullet's perspective. When we pull the trigger, we want the bullet that should be in the gun to come out. So then, 3, come out. So we want to say move until something hit edge or enemy. How aggressive. Right, that's fine. Right. This is when we can get other things, like we can hide it or do an explosion animation. And then we probably also in here want to have show. Would need to pop up. So when it goes to the cat, shows. The other thing I've missed in here after go to the cat is probably / point in same direction, which is a little bit trickier. There's no point aiming it this way and then it shoots like over this way. Okay, so these are all the kind of steps that are involved. Okay, because most of you, when I said let's make it shoot, you just went, oh, I press a button and it just all magically happens. There's a lot of little steps in there, and this becomes less complicated if you can think in the smaller little steps and try and solve each small problem at a time rather than trying to solve the whole thing at once, because that's a little bit trickier. When green flag clicked, how long do we want this run for? Just once or for the whole game? The whole game. So this is when we go forever when we shoot. So I'll say if sensing, you could do not touching, sorry. If space key pressed, or you could do mouse down. I'm going to do space key because I'm on a trackpad and a laptop. Okay, when space key pressed, we want to go to the cat. So under motion, we can say go to random position or go to cat. Why does mine say cat? Because I took the cat and renamed it. Oh, look, all our code's gone. No, it's not. This is the code for our cat. This is the code for our ball. This is called object-oriented scripting. So we want to say go to cat. Then we want it to point in the same direction. So we say point in direction 90, that's just a fixed direction. So I want to say under sensing, there's this one that starts off as this. Hashtag stage. So we put that in there. Change stage to cat, and then it can say change to direction of cat. Point in direction of cat. Awkward sentence, but makes sense. Then I can say here, we want to move until or repeat something until. So get rid of that one there. We want to say repeat until. Not to be confused with repeat 10, please. Repeat until. Repeat until, and I can say in this case, sensing, touching, not mouse pointer, but edge. And say motion, move. And I don't want it 10 steps because it's the same speed the cat runs. So 20 steps. Now, if I run over here, pew, pew. Okay, so that's working pretty okay. So we want to put our hides and shows in. So go there. So I want to say that this looks, I'm going to say hide, repeat until touching edge. Okay, so that bit there is the repeat. Once it's finished repeating, it's this little gap here. It stopped repeating, so it should hide. So now if I shoot, it hides. Problem is we never told to show it, so it's a perfect person at hide and seek. So we need to say, if I press space key, go to the cat point direction, show. Now I find that ball is a little bit big, so I'm going to say set size to at the start. I'll say 60%. Let's just test that. That seems all good. Now that is a reasonable shoot. You can see here. Now, stop it. Fine. Yeah. Go away. Right. Now what we want to do is I want to modify this a wee bit and be able to shoot lots of things. So I want to say if I press shoot, I want all this stuff to happen, but I want to use cloning. All right. So if I say in events, no, it's under control. There it is there. We can say when we start as a clone, we want you to do bullet things. We want you to be made into a clone at some stage, and we want to delete the clones. The reason being is, even though this ball's hidden, we know it's still here on the screen somewhere. Now, if I make lots of clones that hide, or lots of copies of this ball, once we hit about 50 clones, Scratch starts to lag out and starts having issues. So we say when we press space key, we're going to say be a clone, right? So we want to say when we press space key, create a clone of myself, and that clone is going to do all its cloney things. And instead of hiding, we're going to delete the clone. Now, here's the difference. It shoots a whole lot and beams of death. So to kind of get around that, we've done it before, we can use the wait. So I can say if I press space key and wait 0.01 of a second, no, 0.05 of a second. So there's a bit more of a gap there. It's infinite bullets and this is fun, but what we can do is we can actually give ourselves an ammo count and do variables. So we'll do, this will be the last thing we do for this video. Or is it? Yeah. We'll call that there, and then we'll start variables up next time because it's something that needs to be focused on. So there we go.